spoke it out a little bit. A lot of you have heard it. A lot of you have heard it. But I get an opportunity to bring it forth here straight up, directly from how it was given to us. Ricky, you did it. We remember you well. And I remember that everywhere you went, you brought extreme excitement. You would walk into a room and a group of people everywhere, you would just light them up. And you wouldn't even care. It was just so natural for you. You didn't strive for attention. You brought attention to others. They were comfortable to know you. Everyone was always so excited to have you around, and so was I. You brought joy and hope and comfort back into my life when you finally got back to Minnesota. We were all so relieved because for the past few years I have been so worried because the things had taken a bad turn. And the medications the doctor had you on were stealing your joy. And we were all very concerned. I'm more thankful to God than anything I can even think of these days because He brought you to Minnesota. I'm so thankful. The moment you stepped off that train, I felt all my concerns and fears had left. Your smile returned and has never left yet. That is totally comforting to a father. The feeling of comfort unexplained. Very unexplained. I can't even imagine how I could ever explain how comfortable I felt, the things he's been going through and what I've seen God do in his life. It was amazing. You had been through a lot of rough times the past few years, but I felt it was all over now. And for the next 2 months, you proved that true. The prodigal son had returned home. You can ask anyone that's ever seen me so happy. Nobody's ever really seen me extremely happy other than my church friends when they'd seen me dancing when you came to church. They hadn't seen me that happy for years. We all prayed for God's will over your life for years. I had been telling God how to handle your life for a long time. And He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen. He did finally. He got to me. And He showed me His will in your life. Amen. And I had to repent for that. I had to ask the Father I was sorry. I told God what to do for so long. Finally, when I was quiet, He showed me what He was doing. And day and day, I shook my head. This boy was getting blessings and favor. I couldn't understand. I could not understand it. Finally, I let go and let God. It was all uphill for him from there. I could see God working in his life from day one when he got there. For the joy and comfort that He brought to me and the decisions that I seen him start making right away. I was so proud of you, Ricky. You understood you had to get balanced on the medications. And what the doctors had prescribed you, you were interested in getting balanced. That was all there was to it. God had brought people into your life, and they were called angels right from the beginning. From my own dad and my own family, as much as they've helped you unconditionally, God brings angels. Through this ministry here, many years ago, where He came and we danced and praised together here, I'd seen him truly come into manhood. I could see the old wineskin being replaced, and I could clearly see God preparing to pour new wine into his spirit. And when God used my wife, Bibi, to confirm to Ricky what was going on in his life, because he didn't really understand why things were changing so fast. So my wife spoke to him some scriptures, and he received it. He received it. I watched him start to rest. I watched him start to relax. And that he knew it was God that was in charge. Even when I doubted him, I assumed Ricky didn't. You finally got it, Jesus said. Behold, he would never leave you or forsake you. I seen my son get it. I seen that. And that's all I ever wanted, was to see that. I have seen it in many lives, but my son's I didn't. I seen my son get it. I felt God alive in my heart more than I can ever remember. And it was by Ricky's own choice that he attended church with us. I noticed from the very first words of praise that fell out of his mouth and upon his ears, I felt the focus of the ministers. Ricky would just stare. He would stare right at the ministers and listen to every word they were saying, as if he was trying to catch them being wrong with something. Like he knew the truth, and he was just watching them to make sure they had it figured out. From Pastor Lockley here many years ago to the church of the fire starters that Ricky was involved with there, that actually do ministry over here on YWAM, to the many of the humble servants in my family that have stood by Ricky's side time and time again. I can't even sit here as I look and I see every one of you in his lives many times. Many times. If I start naming names, it'd be another 30 minutes after this. So just thank you all. You knew it's Ricky. Not the fact that it's just my son, but you loved him for who he was. And you knew that there was something great in him. And that great I got to see. I had prayed for years for my son to come to Minnesota to get involved with this ministry, Fire Starters, that I just wanted him to be comfortable with talking about the Bible. And when he did, he didn't let me go. He started pressing me on questions. I can't even tell you how long it was. He had so many questions. And I was able to give him the answers right out of the book. And he received it.